The Valve Index was released in 2019, and it was a smash hit with VR enthusiasts. It integrated perfectly with SteamVR and the entire VR catalog on Steam. I mean, they were literally meant for each other. It wasn't long after that people started wondering about the Valve Index too, and despite overwhelmingly positive reception, Valve held back on producing a second headset. There were a few leaks and rumors that paired with the announcement of the release of the Steam Deck, and for a long time people theorized about a headset coming that would partner with it. The rumored headset even gained traction under the nickname Deckard. Years passed, and nothing ever came of those rumors. That was 6 years ago, and even people like me who were firm believers in the second Valve VR headset slowly became cynical, deciding that maybe for all of the hoopla, it wasn't really as financially successful as we all thought. At least not enough for Valve to do anything else with VR. But over the last few months, we've gotten a new round of leaks from the rumor mill, including a new trademark over the name Steam Frame, which has led a lot of people to speculate about a 2025 release. Most people in VR know about the Steam Frame, but just in case you haven't heard of it, this is the name widely expected to replace the nickname Deckard when Valve's new headset finally does launch. However, I've remained skeptical. I haven't seen anything this year or last year to sway my opinion that it's anything more than wishful thinking. Until now. This week, we got something real. News is broken that Valve has entered production on their new headset, and I really can't believe that I'm saying this, but I think it's actually gonna happen. So let's talk about it. Welcome back to Fix My Oculus, the show where we repair, fix, and talk about all things VR, and recently it seems like more and more I'm speculating about the future of VR rather than trying to fix the mistakes of the past. Before we get started, do not forget about our new giveaway. It is free to enter, and you can do that on our website or by using the link in the description below. I'm going to be honest with you, before this week, I had just stopped letting myself get excited. Over the years, I've seen plenty of signals from Valve. They've filed trademarks, they've had patents, even leaked prototype sketches, and images have been floating around since as early as like 2020. Every single time, it looked like maybe there was something brewing, but then nothing would happen. The Steam Frame trademarks from earlier this year were real, public legal filings. The DV1 and DV2 references in the SteamVR beta are tangible breadcrumbs, and the Roy controllers kept showing up in files with a design that made a lot of sense for PCVR gamers. All of this should have been exciting news, but after 6 years of this, none of it was enough for me. I think I got to a point mentally and emotionally where seeing trademarks and code strings just was not going to cut it anymore. I needed something bigger. Supply chains, prototype units in the wild, maybe clear signs of a production ramp up. Without those things, it's just too easy to assume that Valve is just experimenting somewhere in the background with no real intention to ship. So even though those details were more credible than the wild rumors we had seen before, for me they still weren't enough to move the needle. This week's news hit a little different, and I'll tell you why. Out of nowhere, the XR Research Institute in China posted that Valve's new headset had actually entered mass production. Not prototyping, not filing patents, production. They even put some numbers on it, 400 to 600,000 units per year, and pegged it to a holiday launch window. Upload VR picked the story up first, and then Tom's Hardware, Tom's Guide, PC Gamer, everybody ran with it. Now before we get carried away, the first thing that I want to say is those are big numbers. To put that in perspective, Valve's Index is believed to have sold somewhere in the 1 million unit ballpark over its entire lifetime. So if Valve is really gearing up to pump out 500,000 units a year, that is a completely different level of commitment. That's not just a side project for enthusiasts, that's a company trying to carve out a market share again. The reason this matters so much is because production talk is a whole different category than trademarks or just like beta code. A trademark might just be corporate housekeeping. A dev string in SteamVR might just be Valve testing something in the lab. But production? That means supply chains are moving. It's an indication that materials are being bought, maybe physical units are rolling off assembly lines, and if it's true, it's the most tangible signal that we've ever seen that Valve's headset is finally real. There is one caveat here. Road to VR did note that the original WeChat post that started all this was deleted, and the supposed factory location had to be walked back from Shandong, China to possibly Taiwan. So the post might have been accurate, but the details are a little fuzzy. Was it fake? Was it an accident? Was it a slip-up that leaked more information than they intended to? You can judge that for yourself, but for me, I'm leaning toward the latter. So let's talk about timing real quick, because mass production and holiday launch sound great, but I don't think that they really align with reality. Here's the thing. I do think that that the leak is more likely real than not. But belief is not the same as confirmation, and for me, the real confirmation is going to be in the regulatory filings, because that's when you know that a product is actually leaving the lab. Everything with radios, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth antenna, any kind of wireless has to go through certification. That's usually the smoking gun. The Quest 3 was spotted in FCC filings in August of 2023, about 2 months before it launched in October. The Quest Pro showed up in the same window, roughly 8 to 10 weeks out. The Index also had regulatory signals before Valve pulled the covers off of it. That's just how hardware gets to market. There's no way around it. As of today, nothing like that has surfaced for the Steam frame. No FCC, no Bluetooth SIG, no wireless module IDs, and if Valve really wants to launch by the holidays, those filings basically have to appear in the next month or two. If they don't, it probably doesn't kill the rumor, but it probably does mean that we're looking at an announcement this year, with shipping slipping into early 2026 at the earliest. Here's where I land after 6 years. If this is true, if the unit's in production, then Valve is actually really moving. But even with all of this momentum, there's huge blind spots here. We don't know what kind of headset this really is. Is it a high-end enthusiast device to compete with Pimax and big screen, or a broader play to undercut Meta? Is it going to be strictly tethered to SteamVR, or is it going to support standalone apps and PC streaming? And what's the price point going to be? There's a rumor that it's going to be $1,200, but without specs, that is just a number. If Valve were to nail this, PCVR suddenly has a flagship again, something that boots straight into Steam, supports standalone content, and streams PC games wirelessly. That seems like the kind of thing that could really pull people back into high-end VR, reshape the future, and shake up what VR has become. But the window for Valve to matter is continuing to shrink. Meta already owns the casual market, something that was not true in 2019. Apple is trying to carve out luxury mixed reality, albeit with questionable results. Play for Dream, Shift All, Pimax, Big Screen, and some others are clawing for the enthusiast space, and HTC owns enterprise. Samsung, well, we'll see in a few weeks maybe. So here's my takeaway. For the first time in years, I believe that Valve actually might take that shot. But the window is getting narrower all the time, and if they miss Q4 of 2025, Samsung, Play for Dream, Pimax, and Big Screen will all be jockeying for that crown. And if any of them start to run away with it, Valve's climb back to the top gets even steeper in 2026, especially if Meta decides to break out the big guns with anything that looks like their recent prototypes. So that's the state of play. We've got stronger evidence than ever before. We've got a production claim that, if true, puts us within months of a real Valve headset launch, and for the first time since 2019, I actually believe that it might happen, and I'm a skeptic, so do with that information what you want. But what do you guys think? Is Steam Frame the future of PCVR, or is this still just wishful thinking? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, and if you aren't subscribed yet, what are you doing? Subscribe. But that's really all I've got for you guys today, so we will see you on the next one.